The biggest lie that has ever been told is that we need a lot of money to start investing. No, you don't. Just a little will do. And this is precisely how Warren Buffett singled himself out from the world. He started early with the amount that he had. How can we replicate Buffett's success today? What are Warren Buffett's secrets to investing small amounts of money?
My question is, if you're investing a small sum today, which approach would you use?
Well, I would use the approach that I think I'm using now of trying to search out businesses where I think they're selling at the lowest price relative to the discounted cash they would produce in the future.
Number 1, believe in compound interest.
Einstein is reputed to have said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world or something like that. And it goes back to that story you probably learned when you were in grade school where somebody did something for the king and the king said, "What can I do for you?" And he said, "Well, let's take a chessboard and put one kernel of wheat on the first square and then double it on the second and double it on the third." And the king readily agreed to it. And by the time he figured out what 2 to the 64th amounted to, he was giving away the entire kingdom. So it's a pretty simple concept, but over time, it accomplishes extraordinary things.
Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the world's eighth wonder. He who understands it earns it, he who doesn't pay it." It is the human race's most remarkable invention of all time, or the most potent force of the universe according to Einstein. So, if you want to get rich, you should first know the power of compounding. Warren knew at a very young age the secret that compound interest would make him rich over time. Remember, compounding only works through time. Time is the factor that significantly impacts compound interest. The longer you allow the money to compound, the richer you become, and that is the time value of money. Since Warren knew the time value of money and started as early as his childhood, he had this factor in his favor. Number 2, do not be controlled by your emotions.
You don't need a lot of brains in this business. I mean, I've always said if you got an IQ of 160, give away 30 points to somebody else because you don't need it in investments. What you do need is emotional stability. You have to be able to think independently, and you have to be when you come to a conclusion, you have to really not care what other people say and just follow the facts and follow your reasoning. And that's tough for a lot of people. That part I think I was just lucky with. I was born that way.
An investor's emotion is his most detrimental enemy. He should be ruled by rational thoughts rather than emotional thoughts and should trust in the business fundamentals without being concerned about the price movements in the stock market. Price movements in the stock market can mainly be attributed to supply and demand, which in turn is controlled by greed and fear of the participants. To preserve capital in the stock markets and to make the most out of it, you need to reason, shed the herd mentality, and always swim against the flow. It would help if you exploited the follies of the market rather than becoming a part of it. Mr. Market is there to serve you rather than to guide you. Warren was aware of this fact, which is one reason for his success. Number 3, deferred taxes. Capital gains tax eats up your gains significantly if you constantly churn your portfolio. By holding a stock for a lifetime, you have the tax amount in your hands and have the advantage of compounding that money too. According to Warren, the deferred tax is an interest-free loan from the government. Warren got hold of this strategy later in his career, and inevitably, almost all of the stocks he buys for Berkshire or himself are meant to be held forever. Number 4, value for money. Warren always looks for value for money in whatever he buys. For a margin of safety, giving room for errors, he is interested in buying a stock that is worth $1 for half a dollar. He says price is what you pay and value is what you get. Cash is always the king as far as Warren is concerned. He is interested in preserving capital and some cash returns on the invested capital rather than mere capital appreciation by more excellent fool theory. He is very interested in the cash flows in the businesses he intends to buy, the excess of which can be deployed buying other businesses, thereby building multiple income streams, a prime reason for his success. Number 5, chose proven businesses that withstood time. There is a greater chance of running into trouble when you invest in a company with a poor track record. Warren is interested in the historical performance of a company's business and not in the historical price movements of a company's stock. The average year of origin for the companies that Warren Buffett has invested in is 1909, 21 years before he was born, and almost 60 years before Warren took over the management and acquisition decisions for his holding company, Berkshire Hathaway. Warren is interested in owning a business that has withstood time for decades and has very little capital to grow. However, Warren made a mistake investing in a textile company stock, Berkshire Hathaway, which needed a competitive advantage. He looked to invest in businesses with widening, durable competitive advantage around them, which he calls a widening economic moat. He is fascinated by consumer stocks, the business fundamentals of which are easy to understand and have a brand value that influences customers' buying decisions. Those companies' products are consumed regularly, and consumers are prompted to buy. The products are meant to meet immediate short-term needs, fulfilling the short-term desires of the consumer. That means regular business, regular cash flow, and regular profits, whatever the state of the economy. Moreover, a business with a durable competitive advantage can increase the prices of its products right along with inflation without experiencing a decline in demand. That way, its profits remain fat, no matter how inflated the economy gets. Another cornerstone for Warren's investment success. If you've reached this far, it means you are enjoying our content. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to keep seeing valuable videos like this. Number 6. Invested within the circle of competence. Warren believes in operating within his limitations, the circle of competence. Staying within the circle of competence is an excellent way to invest in stocks because it narrows down the list of available options to make fewer and better decisions. It forces us to think more about each decision, reducing the chance of mistakes. In investing, the big thing to do is avoid being wrong. If Warren needed help understanding a company's business, it was beyond his circle of competence. So he wouldn't attempt to value it. Since he had no expertise in technology, he avoided the famous internet stocks in the 1990s. He has, in effect, drawn a line around himself and stays within the subjects on which he is an absolute expert. So here is another reason for his success. Warren knew very well his strengths, weaknesses, and limitations, and what suits him well. Number 7. Invested in owner-oriented companies. Warren is interested in companies that focus on the long-term objective of shareholder wealth maximization. He looks for companies where the management has reputed integrity and is honest, talented, profit-minded, and shareholder-friendly. If you too want to become rich by investing your hard-earned money, invest in owner-oriented enterprises, and have the management work for you, a principle Warren has adopted for a long time that has made him successful. Number 8. Disciplined and self-motivated. What will be our first investment when we start earning? Of course, a home. And we will go for a big home, as big as it could bury 20 to 40 years of our savings. However, Warren was evident in the early days of his career that investing in a home could be a wrong decision with all the money he had then. It would be just like a carpenter selling his toolkit in return for a home. Later, he bought a home that cost him 1/10 of his wealth at that time. That's the difference between us and him. Discipline in investing. Similarly, Warren restrained himself from buying stocks that didn't pass through his investment filter. He is confident of what he is up to and works bright and self-motivated to reach where he wants to. I always knew I was going to be rich. I never doubted it for a minute. Warren Buffett. Number 9. Focused thought and positive thinking. You are what you think. Our thoughts determine who we are as individuals. Right from childhood, Warren was determined to become the wealthiest person in the world one day. He was very much focused on his target of becoming rich. Warren is as good as picking stocks and picking his managers, judging personalities, and extracting the maximum out of them. He has nothing but praise for every manager under him and gives managers a free hand to operate in their own way. In a matter of minutes, he is good at ascertaining a person's positive aspects. He is optimistic about America and the economy. He is all positive and finds opportunity in every doom, the necessary trait anyone needs to develop to succeed both in life and as a businessman. Number 10. Choose what you're passionate about. Do what you are passionate about and money follows. Warren is passionate about capital allocation and growing money. He enjoys himself so much in it that he tap dances to work every day. Warren was fortunate to find his early. Choosing to do what you are passionate about is another secret to getting rich. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. What are your views regarding investing small amounts of money? Let us know in the comments section. Please subscribe below if you found this content valuable, and let's enjoy the journey together.